So I'm Jen from Jail Move, and this is Stacey from the Spark Institute. And the reason why we're doing this YouTube video is to give you a little bit more information about our cooking class that we did today, and some questions that a lot of you may have. This is not going to be the last time you see Stacey, so definitely on my network anyways. And I'm going to be so excited that we're going to be introducing so many things in 2019. But what we discussed today with our cooking class and what have you, there were so many little details that we want to get into, and there's only so much that you can do on a live, right? So going into a little bit of that, a little bit more about collagen and the benefits of it and so on, right? We talked about arthritis or just joint health. We talked about face and skin and health and that sort of stuff. So share that a little bit more.
Okay, so first I want to tell you where you can get collagen from, because I think there's this big hype or this big craze about the collagen powder.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call it a fad because collagen is so good for us, but the powder is this new thing that's just come out and that people have started talking about. But collagen has been healthy for years. It's not just starting to be healthy. And where we used to really focus on getting collagen from was bone broth. Okay. So when you have bone broth, you're taking all the nutrients from that bone, including the collagen, the proline, the glycine, like so many amino acids, magnesium, potassium. You're getting all of that from the bone broth, and you're taking it into your body. So you don't have to buy the powder necessarily to get it. You can, and it's helpful and it works well, but there are other ways. There's also different types of protein powder that you can buy that are full of collagen. Perfect. So today when we were doing our cooking class, I had shown you one protein powder. It's 100% beef protein, and it's made up of 70% collagen. So you don't have to buy the protein powder and the collagen powder. It's kind of like a one-stop shop when it comes to protein powder, full of benefits. And like you were mentioning, so collagen has tons of benefits. My favorite is anti-aging.
Yes, I think all of us all have the same feelings about that.
Yeah.
And I just want to let you guys know, I had the protein shake, and my stomach doesn't hurt, and that was something that happened when I would have any sort of like whey protein. I didn't have any weird taste like a vegan protein, so just wanted to mention that now. But anyway.
Well, sorry, now I'm going to add to that. So with protein powder, I find it's really tricky to find a good protein powder because it really depends on if you have food sensitivities. So I do a lot of sensitivity testing in the clinic, and so if you have a dairy sensitivity, specifically to whey, a whey protein powder isn't going to work. And then the next problem is a lot of people say, okay, well, I feel bloated when I eat whey, so I'm going to go to a pea protein or a vegetarian protein source. The problem there is almost like 70% of people are sensitive to pea protein.
Oh, wow.
So you think you're doing yourself a favor, and then you might be having a protein powder that isn't working for your body. So you really have to find the one that's best for you in terms of bloating, because that's a common concern I get. Oh, well, I don't do protein shakes because it always makes me feel sick or bloated or whatever it might be, and it's just finding the right stuff to put in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so anti-aging, collagen works really well. It helps to decrease the appearance of wrinkles, fine lines. It also helps with joint health, like you were mentioning. So if you do have arthritis, or even if you don't have arthritis and you work out a lot and you're lifting weights, you're putting stress on your joints. Super help. Like, we know that for longevity of life, having more muscle mass is what's going to keep you alive longer. 100%. So just because it's hard on your joints isn't a reason not to do it. It's just figuring out ways to protect your joints.
Exactly. So with me at JL Move, we really work on mobility, and we work on improving range of motion and bringing our tendons and ligaments in areas where we don't normally go. So that's great, but then there's like collagen, which is almost like the building blocks to because even though we work out whatever, there's always mild tears that happen. That's natural in our muscles, but that also kind of helps congeal and build those building blocks together to help those areas where we overuse them. But anyway.
Yeah. And also another important point is that's why it's so important when you're working out to work with a trainer that knows what they're talking about and can help you based on your abilities and your needs to protect those joints.
Yeah.
And to be able to do it safely in a way where you're building muscle and you're getting stronger while you're still protecting.
And I say that all the time, and it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be with me, but if you have a trainer or you are at a gym and you have someone that's helping you with that, really be wary of what they're doing, right? If your knee hurts and they just tell you to stop, it's not, maybe it's not that you have to stop exercising, maybe there's something going on with your hips, your knees. Anyways, that's more info about today, it's more about Stacey, but it's just there's so much more to that. So, but anyways. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so the collagen is really helpful for the joint health, and something that maybe people don't know about as much is gut health.
Yeah.
So collagen is actually very healing if somebody has what we call leaky gut syndrome. Basically, it just means you have inflammation in the intestines. It can cause bloating, indigestion, gas, loose stool, constipation. Collagen can be really helpful to help heal up those holes essentially that form from inflammation.
Amazing.
So collagen is something that is a superfood, tons of benefits, and something that you should consider incorporating into your daily routine.
Cool. So we did the bone broth.
Mm-hmm.
There is that powder option, which is cool, and then the protein powder that Stacey provides at her clinic, which I'm actually going to be sharing with you guys on my Instagram. I think I want to sell that stuff.
You should.
Because it's really awesome.
Yeah.
But those are some ways to really incorporate collagen. Now, a lot of us are dealing with hormonal issues, whether we may not be currently, but those people that are trying to get pregnant, and also those that are going through menopause. They're two opposite ends of the spectrum. But what are some tips that you can give to those that are going through menopause right now?
Yeah, so for menopause, basically when you're going through menopause, your hormones are almost reversing. They're just getting totally out of whack. And some of the most common symptoms that somebody going through menopause start to experience are things like hot flashes, having a hard time losing weight. Sometimes they'll notice changes in their mood, feeling more anxious, maybe a little bit more irritable. Some easy things with menopause that help is actually removing things out of your diet.
Okay.
So removing coffee. These are things that people
That's tight.
These
That's intense. But anyways,
I was gonna say these are things that usually people don't want to hear, but coffee will make your hot flashes worse.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, I drink coffee, so I'm not like.
But like we're saying, like if you really want to see a difference,
if you really want to see a difference,
the elimination
if you try,
diet.
and I always say to people, try it for 3 days. Try it for 3 days. The only times I promise you, the only times I tell people to cut out coffee is if they're having severe hot flashes or if they can't sleep at night.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would never tell someone to cut out coffee.
You're right.
But try it for 3 days and see if you notice a decrease in your hot flashes. Sugar also is something else that will cause your hormones to get out of whack. So those are two things that we focus on if somebody's experiencing a lot of menopausal symptoms. But like we talked about in our cooking class today, something like flax seeds is going to